Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 5th verse of the 8th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sadhayitva ajata shatro swam rajyam kitavai hritam ghatayitva asato rajnyaha kachasparsha kshata ayushaha. The meaning of this verse is, the clever Duryodhana and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of Yudhishthira, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed, and the unscrupulous kings who joined with Duryodhana were killed by him. Others also died, their duration of life having decreased for their rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, insulting the chaste lady Draupadi cost them their very life. It's very, very dangerous. And Prabhupada explains very nicely in the purport, in the glorious days or days before the advent of the age of Kali, the Brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children and the old men were properly given protection. So 5 categories of persons are mentioned who require special protection. Of course, in the Vedic culture, the king protects all the citizens impartially. But in spite of being impartial to all the citizens, the king gives special care or protection for 5 categories of persons: the Brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children and old men. Now why? That is explained by Srila Prabhupada very nicely. Number 1, why protection should be given specially for Brahmanas? It is explained here. The protection of the Brahmanas maintains the institution of Varna and Ashrama, the most scientific culture for attainment of spiritual life. The Brahmanas are the ones who give direction to the rest of the society for everyone to attain spiritual life. Having got the human form of life, everyone is eligible as a human being. So, Brahmanas are protected means rest of the society will get proper direction for spiritual advancement to attain spiritual life. Number 2, why cows have to be protected? That is explained as follows. The protection of cows maintains the most miraculous form of food, that is milk, for maintaining the finer tissues of the brain for understanding higher aims of life. Human intelligence is special because a human being has developed intelligence to understand spiritual aim of life or higher aim of life than merely satisfying the senses in gross or subtle ways. So, this higher aim of life is missed out if the brain tissues are not properly nourished. Therefore, cow's milk is especially meant for human beings in order to nourish their brain tissues to understand the spiritual goal of life. And Srila Prabhupada many times has explained this point, that cow's milk is a miraculous form of food. For whom? For the human beings, for the progressive human beings. Number 3, this describes why women should be protected. The protection of women maintains the chastity of society, by which we can get a good generation for peace, tranquility, and progress of life. The future depends on the quality of the progeny that human beings are producing now. Now, how can we ensure that there is a good progeny? By protecting the women. Number 4, why children should be protected. The protection of children gives the human form of life its best chance to prepare the way of liberty from material bondage. Such protection of children begins from the very day of begetting a child by the purificatory process of Garbhadhana Samskara, the beginning of pure life. Certainly in modern society, many people do not know what is this Garbhadhana Samskara, or the beginning of pure life. That before a man and woman combine, they perform this Garbhadhana Samskara, or preparation of their consciousness, in order to attract a spiritually advanced soul to take shelter of the parents as their child. So, in this way, good population will be there in this society, resulting in a good generation being produced for a good future. Number 5, why old men should be protected. The protection of the old men gives them a chance to prepare themselves for better life after death. Of course, entire human life is preparation for a better life after death. But at least if one has not begun this preparation before old age comes, at least after retirement, after getting old, one should and must dedicate oneself completely for this preparation. That's why old men should be protected. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains, this complete outlook is based on factors leading to successful humanity. Success in the human form of life is something different from the success which people who do not know what is the goal of human life, what they think is success. So Srila Prabhupada says, this complete outlook is based on factors leading to successful humanity as against the civilization of polished cats and dogs. Human life is no better than animal life if one is simply engaged in the same 4 animal activities. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanyametat pashubhi narana. There are 4 common activities for both the animals, Pashubhihi and Naranam, and for the human beings. What are the 4 common activities? Ahara, food. We all require food. Our living is based on food. Nidra, sleep. Bhaya, defense mechanism against some danger for the body. And Maithuna, for procreation, there is a need of engaging in sex life. So these are common activities of the animals and the human beings. But a human being is distinguished because of possessing a developed intelligence by which the human being can make a permanent solution to all problems of material existence by attaining spiritual life. So, for attaining spiritual life, there has to be a proper organized effort in the society, in the human society. And that organized effort is called the scientific system of Varna and Ashrama. Every human being is classified according to guna and karma to engage in a particular type of occupational activity so that they can contribute to the society and also get their means of livelihood. And importantly, all are guided by the qualified Brahmanas in order to attain spiritual life by practicing certain basic principles meant for the human being, civilized human being. Now, Srila Prabhupada says, the killing of the above mentioned innocent creatures is totally forbidden because even by insulting them, one loses one's duration of life. We have a fixed duration of life when we are born, but this duration of life will not remain with us throughout our life intact. It's not going to remain intact. We can reduce our duration of life by insulting any of the 5 categories of persons, by insulting a Brahmana or a cow or a chaste woman or innocent children or old men. By insulting any of them, our duration of life is shortened. And here is an example that Prabhupada gives. In the age of Kali, they are not properly protected, and therefore the duration of life of the present generation has shortened considerably. Why are we seeing shortening of the duration of life nowadays? Because the above 5 categories of personalities are not given proper protection. That is well known. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that when the women become unchaste for want of proper protection, there are unwanted children called Varna Sankara. Varna Sankara means children born of unprotected women. Such children are actually born with so many demoniac qualities, and they actually spoil the entire human society because of their bad behavior, and the whole society becomes degraded because of such unwanted children. So that is because women are not protected. To insult a chaste woman means to bring about disaster in the duration of life. Dushasana, a brother of Duryodhana, insulted Draupadi, an ideal chaste lady, and therefore the miscreants died untimely. All the Kauravas, 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, they all died simply because Draupadi was insulted in that assembly when there was a gambling match. So they tried to strip her naked, and they were unsuccessful because Krishna protected Draupadi. But nonetheless, their duration of life was shortened, and they all died untimely. Akala mrityu. So, duration of life is shortened when one insults a chaste lady. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.